All right, let's jump right in. We're looking at a source that makes a really bold claim that you can literally rewire your own brain for a higher level of intelligence. And we're not talking about just memorizing facts or speed reading here. No, this is about a full-on protocol to change the way you see reality itself. But here's the thing. Right out of the gate, there's a pretty serious warning. This isn't some self-help trick to make you more popular. In fact, it's the opposite. The argument is that when you develop a genuinely sharp mind, it can actually be kind of lonely. Why? Because you start seeing the patterns, the hidden structures that most people are just happier not seeing. Okay, so where do we even start? Well, according to this source, the very first step is to tear down a big idea we've all been fed. And that's the idea that what we're told about intelligence, it's not just wrong, it's a lie. A lie specifically designed to hold you back. So check this out. This really breaks it down, the lie versus the truth. On one side, you've got what we always hear, right? Intelligence is fixed. You're born gifted. It kind of keeps you on the sidelines. But then look at the other side. The truth, according to this source, is that intelligence isn't something you have. It's something you do. It's a skill you can train, a response you can learn. It's about how you think, not just what you know. This is really the core of it, this new definition. Intelligence isn't about being a walking encyclopedia. It's about pattern recognition. It's the ability to look at two completely different things, say the power dynamics in a corporate boardroom and the dynamics within a family, and see the exact same underlying structure playing out. That's the key. And this next point, wow, it really drives home this idea of intelligence as a learned response. The argument is that a lot of what we call gifted kids are actually kids who grew up in some kind of chaos. They developed this hyper-awareness, this incredible pattern recognition as a survival tool. And if it's a survival tool, well, that means it's a skill. And any skill can be trained. Okay, so let's get into the how-to. This isn't just a bunch of interesting theory. The source lays out a very specific 90-day protocol, a set of drills designed to basically force your brain into this new way of operating. And the whole thing is built around these 4 drills. You've got deep question isolation, information weaponization, pattern harvesting, and cognitive combat. Each one targets a different skill, but they all work together to, well, rewire you. All right, drill number 1, deep question isolation. The idea here is to train something called penetrative thinking. You sit for 20 minutes a day with just one question, and you just keep hitting it with why. You blow past all the easy surface-level answers until you hit the absolute bedrock of the issue. It's about training your mind to stop accepting fluff. Drill 2 is information weaponization. I love that name. The goal is to stop being a passive sponge for information and become an active operator. So every single thing you read or hear, you immediately ask yourself, how can this be used? You're not just collecting trivia. You're turning every piece of data into a tool, a principle, a weapon for your mental arsenal. Then we have pattern harvesting. This one is all about learning to read the world around you. You just spend some time each day observing people. You're looking for the little loops, the repeated signals. You know, how someone always touches their face when they're about to lie, or the specific phrase a coworker uses right before they disagree with you. You're basically building your own personal dictionary of human behavior. And finally, cognitive combat. This one's about building serious mental flexibility. You take a position, any position, and once a week you argue both sides of it. And not just kind of half-heartedly. You argue both sides with everything you've got. The goal isn't to be right. The goal is to destroy your attachment to any single point of view, so you can see any issue from any angle. So, what happens if you actually do all this for 90 days? What does that transformation look like? Well, the source gets really specific about the journey. Here is the roadmap. Days 1 to 10, it's gonna be tough. Your brain's gonna fight you. That's the discomfort and resistance phase. Then from day 11 to 30, things start to click. That's breakthrough and integration. But look at that third stage, acceleration and alienation. This is where your thinking gets so fast, so different, that it can actually start to create friction with the people around you. And finally, days 61 to 90, you hit stabilization and power, where this just becomes your new normal. And that word, alienation, that brings us to maybe the biggest warning in the whole text. This isn't a free lunch. This kind of transformation comes with a pretty heavy price tag. Yeah, loneliness is the tax on clarity. The source really doesn't pull any punches there. What does that mean? It means the sharper your vision gets, the fewer people are standing there seeing the same thing. That shared reality that we all use to connect with each other, it can start to break down. And that can be incredibly isolating. This really sums up the trade-off, right? You're basically choosing to move from the column on the left to the one on the right. You trade being warm but powerless for being powerful but calculated. You stop living on the surface and start seeing the deep structure. And in doing so, you might just break some of those easy connections you used to have. So, how do you navigate all this? The source gives you 5 guiding principles, like a compass for the journey. They're there to remind you of the big picture. Intelligence is a process, not a thing you own. Flexibility is more important than raw brain power. And, crucially, with this new intelligence comes responsibility. And yeah, there's that tax on clarity again. And this leads to one last really critical warning. There's a dark side to all this. When you can see the patterns and know how to pull the levers, it is incredibly tempting to use that power to manipulate people. So the source is crystal clear. You have to build your character, your ethics, right alongside these new mental skills. Capability without character is just, well, it's just destruction. So after all of this, the drills, the warnings, the whole philosophy, it all boils down to one final, really provocative choice. A choice that the source puts right in front of you. And there it is, 90 days. The claim is that this whole thing, a complete rewiring of how your mind works, is just 90 days of dedicated daily practice away. That's it. 3 months, a whole new mental operating system. And in the end, that's what this all comes down to, a direct challenge to you. It draws a line in the sand between people who think this is just interesting and people who are actually going to do the work. Because the source makes it clear that just knowing this stuff is worthless. Transformation takes action, not just intention. So the only real question is, are you going to walk the path?